We're sitting on the stage here at Western Beat with one of the guys who was there when the whole Western Beat thing started from Austin, Texas, actually from Lubbock, Texas. It's Joe Ely.
All right, how's everything?
Good, man. Thanks for coming down to do the show with us.
Glad to be here.
Tell us the story about the whole Western Beat thing and the trip to Europe.
Well, you know, as near as I can remember, we were going over to do the Montreux Jazz Festival, and it was kind of a strange thing, you know, coming in. Kevin Welch and Jimmy Dale Gilmore and Butch Hancock and can't remember who all.
Jim Lauderdale.
Jim Lauderdale, and so we came in. Here we were in some little town in Switzerland by France, you know, and we were thinking about. I had just released a record, and Kevin had, and Jimmy had. And we were all thinking about. We were laughing about whenever anybody asked us what we called our music, we'd have to sit and explain it, you know. And so we decided that was ridiculous. You know, people had invented different words before, reggae and rock and roll, and you know, so we just kind of jokingly came up with this term, Western Beat, and you know, it worked because it was, you know, it was something to say, and really all you need is just something to say. Lately, I've been calling my music flamenco Billy because I've been using a flamenco guitar player. But you know, it's like I think it's great to find something that you know comes from the outside and describes, and that's kind of perfect, you know, because it's got a beat and it's also got the Western thing, you know.
Well, also for the rest of the world, you know, the rest of the world is like has a fascination with things American, and Western Beat in a global sense helps describe the American roots music thing.
Yeah, I like the fact that it kind of, the beat thing kind of also kind of described the poetry, you know, and all from like Kerouac and those guys.
Yeah, the beat poet thing.
The beat poet thing where they would, you know, hitchhike across America and in their books they'd describe what was going on, and that was kind of their journal of affairs of the country. And that's a lot of the way songwriters do, is they travel around and they their whole thing that they write is kind of like a journal of their life.
And that's what this music is all about.
And yeah, so it's telling a story, where you're coming from and where you're going and what you saw along the way.
You've been doing this for so long, Joe, and it's almost like you're a part of this second wave of the outlaw movement.
Well, or even third or fourth wave, I don't know.
The new wave.
The new wave. Yeah, I was down in Austin when all of that, you know, well, actually I was living in Lubbock, but I was spending all my time in Austin when kind of the first outlaw thing kind of came into Austin and was playing around the Armadillo, and when Willie and Waylon first came down, and yeah, there's I see a whole new breed popping out of that, and it's great to see, you know, a complete generation cycled around, you know, kind of a different kind of music.
And alternative country music.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because a lot of these artists are doing more traditional country rather than alternative.
Well, sometimes old is new again, you know, and it's good to be reminded of that because you have to know where something came from in order to know where to go with it. I remember when I went over to England in the late 70s and early 80s, and I ran into these English rockers over there like Elvis Costello and the Clash, and did some shows with the Clash, and they introduced me to some DJs and radio stations that showed me these records that were made and written and recorded 50 miles from Lubbock, Texas, and I had never heard of them. I had to go 5,000 miles to discover what was in my backyard, and people now are discovering something that kind of rediscovering like the old country and everything, and saying, wow, that's amazing. I never knew that existed, because they're not playing it on the radio, you know.
This show is going to play to an audience that may have never discovered Joe Ely before. How does that feel?
Well, you know, it's everything is a big process. I'm always discovering people that I've never heard before, and so I hope a few people discover, you know, and like what I'm doing. It's a give and take. You gotta always be given before you can receive anything, you know, and that's what music is so great about, is the more you give, you know, and if you're able to receive, it enriches your life.
You're famous for your live shows.
I love to play live, yeah. That's I've been I grew up, playing in the old honky tonks around West Texas, and I've always considered it a big part of my life. Half of the year I'm live, and the other half I'm trying to write new songs.
There was a period of time when you were very disillusioned about the music business. What brought you back?
There was I saw there was a period of my life where every time I turned around, someone was looking over my shoulder and suggesting that I do something a different way, like people in the music business, and I couldn't handle that very well, because I don't think of music as a product. I think of it as like we were talking at the beginning, like a journal of your life, just a little page out of where you've been or what you've done. And so when someone was trying to describe, or push me one way or the other, especially in like the early 80s, I hit a period where I said, if it's going to be like this, I'm backing out, and I didn't play for about a year and a half there,
You're in a new chapter. In that book of documenting your life with your music, you're in a brand new chapter. Talk about that.
Well, in the last few years, since about 95, I guess, I've been kind of discovering the southwestern United States and the kind of the border. I've always been fascinated with the border of Mexico and how the richest country in the world can be slammed right up against one of the poorest, and it's amazing contrast of it's not really fair, the things that happen just right across the border. And so I'm always fascinated with the flow of migrant workers into America, and with the injustices that are done, and just that contrast between the two countries. So the last few records I've been kind of painting a picture of that part of the country following the border from Texas to California.
You got a new album that's a live record.
I did a live record here a while back, and I seem to have to do a live record every once in a while, because I got to get it out, and kind of takes the band at its current state, and it's coming out a couple of months, and it's pretty much goes all the way back to the players that I played with back when I was growing up, like Lloyd Maines and Jesse Taylor, and all the way to the present with flamenco guitar player Taya from Spain, and one of the guys from the Los Super 7, Joe Ely, on the accordion. So it's a full range, full spectrum of.
Great. Well, thanks for being here, man. I'm looking forward to hearing you play.
Right. Well, I certainly appreciate it.
All right, Joe Ely.